Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called Artemis Fowl. This is a 2020 film. It is rated PG. It was released in June of 2020. It's one of our newer ones that should have been in theaters, I think, if theaters were open. And it stars Ferdia Shaw, Lara McDonnell, and Josh Gad, among others. The description is Artemis Fowl, a young criminal prodigy, hunts down a secret society of fairies to find his missing father. This is Artemis Fowl. Well, thank you everybody for watching this video. Like I said, this is one of the newer movies to come to us finally this year. We've been having a limited number of movies come, but I've been watching a lot of movies that have been released in 2020. So if you'd like to go back through my list a little bit, a lot of them are movies that have been released in 2020. So when everybody's saying, oh, this is one of the only few movies that's been released in 2020, they're talking about major like blockbusters. But there are other movies out there that have been released this year. But this is one more that has more focus on it. It has been released to Disney Plus, so it's available to watch on there, and some other platforms which I utilized. But I think that this is a good movie that is getting torn apart because people are overanalyzing every little detail because they're finally able to see a movie like this, that's supposed to be bigger, that's having a lot of focus put on it. So I think that's what's happening with some of the things I've heard, the rating online, the one review I've seen so far of this by somebody else before I make mine. And I'm kind of sorry for everybody overanalyzing this movie because it's not meant to be like that. Just because it's one of the few new ones out there, you can still just enjoy it. You don't have to overanalyze every little detail and say this looks like that and this looks bad and blah blah blah. If you generally don't enjoy yourself watching this, I can understand, okay? That's fine. But this is a movie for children. It's a Disney movie. Adults don't have to enjoy every Disney movie out there. That's not the point of them. Lion King, Aladdin, maybe people just don't enjoy them. Toy Story, not for everybody. But Artemis Fowl, I think, is a really kind of nice breath of fresh air. At least the first hour or so. I don't know why I have to have siren. Why do we always live on streets that are like the busiest streets for sirens? But I just think that this movie is a nice breath of fresh air because it is like other movies that we've seen, but it has its own idea, its own characters, and it carries out its idea of its world, and it plays by its rules and does what it wants. And so, I wasn't sitting there the whole time saying, oh, this is just like Spy Kids, or oh, this is just like Harry Potter, or this is just like this, because it was its own movie. And I think that's what makes this movie good. I am going to talk bluntly about the movie from here on out, so if you don't want to hear it, I can understand. But the first 2/3 of this movie, I think, are really well done. With Colin Farrell and Judi Dench playing minor roles in this movie, it really helps out having that, seniority experience. It doesn't matter how little of the movie they're in or how little of a role they play. It just helps to have them around. And I think that a movie like this, when you have that kind of stuff, Artemis, I think, took a note from someone like Colin Farrell being his dad. He's a young kid, but I think he took a note and said, okay, I've got to, actually act professional in this movie. Like, he could have done whatever he wanted to as a kid actor and just, gone haywire and played this role a way different way. But I think the way he played it was saying, "Oh, I'm in a movie with professionals, with really good people," and I appreciated how he played his character. You know, I mean, I don't like his description of being whatever you want to call him, a criminal mastermind, a genius of magic, but he was just thinking outside the box because he was so smart. And it was enjoyable to have him act that way. But, it's not all convincing that he, just grasped this stuff and came up with all his answers within like a week or something, whatever the timeline is. But everything else about him is enjoyable. All the other side characters are really enjoyable. Obviously, Josh Gad plays a terrific character in this as a dwarf. And this kind of fairy cop girl, she plays a really good character, and she has a lot to build on. She kind of has her own story going on, and there's some good things happening on the side and then merging towards the end. So once we near the end, and what I think is going to be a big discussion point about this movie, not like it hasn't been done before, like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or some other movie, but maybe Twilight. If you're going to spend 20 minutes of your movie that nobody's ever seen before, and you're going to spend the last 20 minutes setting up another movie, there better be another freaking movie. And I'm meaning like within a year. Like Lord of the Rings, every December, every Christmas, they had a new movie, and they guaranteed it was coming. So Artemis Fowl, you better have another movie within another year, because I had to sit here and watch 20 minutes of the end of your movie setting up the next movie. Everything that happened was to set up the next movie. And so I think that's going to be either, people understanding, like, okay, Lord of the Rings has done it before, blah, 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 other people have done it before, it's fine, not that big a deal, or it's going to be, what the hell? What are you doing? 20 minutes of setup for another movie? I mean, that's not even, you're not even completing one movie before you start talking about another movie. Like, we need an ending, and that's not an ending, and I can understand both arguments. I would love to be the head of a forum of that argument, because movies like this, movies like Lord of the Rings, it's frustrating to not have an actual ending of every single movie happening, but to bluntly set it up and be so convinced that you're going to have another movie for 20 minutes at the end of the movie, it's garbage to me. I think it's complete garbage, because you're convincing us that to watch your movie Artemis Fowl, and the end of your movie is nothing. It's nothing. It's just set up for the next story. You could have that in the next movie, literally, if it ever happens, because obviously people are a little disappointed with this one. It did remind me a little bit of John Carter. I love John Carter. I did enjoy this. I watched it with another person who doesn't usually like these movies, and they like this movie. So I think that this can hit the right chord with a lot of people. I'm not sure how kids are going to take it. It's a little slow. It's a little adultish. It's a little slow. It likes to explain itself a lot. But other than that, I think it's an enjoyable time. I think it's an enjoyable movie. I think it's a well done movie. I think there's a lot of big things in it, a lot of big surprises, a lot of funny stuff happening. Artemis is starting to get to know the stuff. There's a really evil character, the dad. It has to deal with magic and stuff. I mean, people are going to watch this movie. So, with me being a little bit upset about the ending especially, and the movie being fine but enjoyable, I'm going to give Artemis Fowl a B-. I think it earns that grade. I think people are way overreacting to this movie. I think you need to take it in stride, enjoy what it has to offer, and then have your opinion about the ending. So B- for Artemis Fowl. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and get some of them to watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And enjoy your movies. Thanks.